You are brushing your teeth, and a sliver of translucent white appears at the gum line. It was not there last month. Your tooth is becoming see-through. The enamel, the hardest substance in your body, is dissolving. You have not ground your teeth. You have not scraped them raw. The acid in your diet is eating them, one meal at a time. Citrus, soda, vinegar, even sparkling water. They drop below pH 5.5 and your enamel begins to demineralize. Calcium and phosphate ions leach out. The crystal structure collapses. Your dentist will offer you a crown. It costs $1,200 to $2,500 per tooth. 4 teeth gone to erosion. That is $5,000 to $10,000 you did not budget for. Now, I want you to sit with this for a moment. This erosion is not happening by accident. It is not inevitable. I have spent 18 years studying how teeth actually repair themselves and what stops that repair. My grandmother in Osaka never saw a dentist in her life. Her teeth stayed strong until she died. The difference was not genetics. It was one mineral her mother taught her to use. Here is what I am going to show you by the end of this chapter. Enamel erosion is reversible, but not how Western dentistry teaches it. There is a $4 powder used in Japan since 1993 that physically refills the holes acid leaves behind. It is called nanohydroxyapatite, and it does exactly what your dissolved enamel no longer can. The process takes 30 days. You will see the yellowing fade and sensitivity drop within weeks. But first, you need to understand what is actually happening inside that translucent spot on your tooth. The enamel is not just wearing away, it is being chemically dismantled, crystal by crystal. And that is where the real story begins, because once you see how it breaks, you will see exactly how to rebuild it. Now that you know your enamel is dissolving, here is what makes it grow back. Your tooth is made of the same mineral NASA invented to fix broken bones in space. In 1974, a Japanese company called Sangi licensed that formula from NASA. They asked one question: what if we made the particles impossibly small? Nanohydroxyapatite. Particles between 10 and 100 nanometers across. To give you scale, your enamel crystals are roughly the same size. This matters because your body only recognizes what matches itself. When you place nanohydroxyapatite on a damaged spot, it does not feel foreign. It is chemically identical to the 96% of enamel that is already you. Here is the mechanism that most toothpaste makers will not explain. Your saliva contains calcium and phosphate ions, but they move slowly into pits. Nanoparticles dissolve faster. They release ions that flood the microlesions immediately. Think of it like water finding a crack in concrete. The ions bind directly into the empty spaces where acid ate the mineral away. The crystal lattice rebuilds, one layer at a time, from the inside out. Fluoride does something different. It turns your enamel into fluorapatite, a harder compound. But fluorapatite is not what your body made. It is a synthetic upgrade. Nanohydroxyapatite deposits material chemically identical to native enamel. In 1993, Japan's Ministry of Health officially recognized it as an active repair ingredient. 30 years ago, while the West was still arguing about it, I want you to picture this at the cellular level for a moment. You have ameloblasts, cells that build enamel, but only while your teeth are erupting. Once they erupt, those cells are gone. Enamel cannot biologically regenerate itself. This is why most dentists tell you erosion is permanent. But remineralization is not regeneration. It is something quieter and more direct. The mineral you lost is redeposited. The crystal structure refills like a road being patched. Nanoparticles can also occlude the microscopic tubules in your dentin underneath. This is why sensitivity vanishes within the first week. Now, here is where you move from understanding to action. The powder alone rebuilds the mineral, but the powder needs a delivery system. You need a method that keeps the particles in contact with the damaged zones long enough. That is the 30-day protocol I am about to walk you through. So, the powder is in your hand now. The next 30 days are where the work happens. Morning 1. Brush your teeth normally, but do not rinse away the saliva after. I learned this from my grandmother in Osaka, who never touched a dentist office. Wet your toothbrush. Dip it into the nano-hydroxyapatite powder, just a small amount, the size of a rice grain. This powder is identical to the mineral your enamel lost. At the molecular level, brush gently for 2 minutes, focusing on any spot you can see that looks chalky or thin. The nanoparticles are already dissolving on your wet brush, releasing calcium and phosphate ions. Here is what most people miss. Do not rinse your mouth for 10 minutes after brushing. Your saliva is doing the heavy lifting now, carrying those ions into the micro lesions you cannot see. The ions seep into the damaged crystal structure and begin to refill it from inside. This is remineralization, the process I explained in the last chapter, now actually happening on your teeth. Repeat this morning protocol every single day for the full 30 days. The afternoon step is where you speed up the process. Drink water with a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Baking soda neutralizes the acids that caused the erosion in the first place. Your saliva is already rich in calcium and phosphate from the morning powder. The neutral pH lets those minerals stay put. By week 2, you will notice the chalky spots starting to feel smoother under your tongue. Week 3, the translucent zones begin to look opaque again, catching light differently. Week 4, the enamel feels hard, the way it felt before the damage started. But here is what I need to tell you before you finish this 30 days. That rebuilt surface is only as strong as your next decision, the one that determines whether it holds or starts to fade again. And that habit, the one my family has kept for 3 generations, is what the next chapter is built on. With the powder resting on your teeth, one habit decides whether rebuilt enamel holds forever or fades. That habit is not what most people think it is. It is not brushing harder or buying expensive gel or visiting a hygienist every month. I am going to tell you what it actually is, because it is the reason my grandmother never sat in a dentist's chair. The habit is this: you do not eat or drink acid between meals. That is the entire mechanism. Let me show you why. Remember from the start, enamel dissolves when your mouth drops below pH 5.5. Each time you consume anything acidic, a 20-minute demineralization window opens. Your saliva can only repair it if acid does not strike again inside that window. 1 coffee at 9, 1 at noon, 1 at 3. You have kept the window broken open all day. The enamel never heals. It just erodes in layers. But if you drink coffee at 9 and nothing acidic until dinner, the window closes and closes and closes. Saliva floods in. Calcium and phosphate refill the lesions, and the crystals lock. I have watched this happen in every single person who maintains enamel rebuilt with nanohydroxyapatite. The Japanese learned this centuries before we had the words for pH or crystal structure. Green tea between meals, salt and plum, fermented rice. None of it acid, none of it sugary. Then meals. Then hours of nothing but water and saliva doing the repair work. This is the prevention lock-in I promised you. Not a powder, not a rinse, a rhythm. Look at what we have walked through. You identified erosion. You understood how nanohydroxyapatite refills it. You followed the 30-day protocol. And now you hold the one habit that keeps the rebuilt enamel sealed. Water between meals. Meals with intention. That is the framework. Tomorrow, notice what you drink at 3 p.m. Is it closing the window or opening it again? I read every comment you leave. Tell me what you notice when you watch your own mouth's rhythm over a single day. The enamel you rebuild is yours to keep.